We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many countries with 5-letter names as they could. Richard, can you be more specific?
Yeah, I need you to pay very, very close attention. I need you to give me countries, and they've got to have 5 letters in their name. By countries, as always, we mean UN members, which are sovereign states. And those names have to be the English names of those countries, so the names we give them. There are 26 of them.
Thank you very much, Richard. So, Tori, what could be simpler? Countries with 5-letter names.
I can only think of 2, and they're not obscure. I'm going to say India.
India. A little country. But undoubtedly a country with 5 letters in its name. Let's see how many of our 100 people said India. It's a correct answer. Not bad. Not bad at all. Look at that. Wow! Astonishingly, that means only 16 of our 100 people said India. That gives you a respectable low score of 16. On to our next pair. Craig, a country with a 5-letter name. Really obscure one.
I'm not sure if it's a country, but I'd say Kenya.
Kenya. Very good. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Kenya. It's good. Down it comes. It's a good answer. Look at that. 2. On to our next pair. Ian, a country of 5 letters.
I think I'm going to go for Ghana.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Ghana. It's a correct answer. It's going to be another good one, I think. Down it goes. Very good. That means only 9 of our 100 people said Ghana. And finally, David, a country with 5 letters in its name.
I'm going to have to go for the one that I think has got the least amount of people. I'm going to have to go for Japan.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Japan. It's the right answer. Not bad. That means 22 of our 100 people said Japan. Well, we are halfway through the round. Let's have a look at the scoreboard. Darren and Craig did fantastically well there with a lovely low score of 2. Neil and David, 22 is not a bad score, but the others have been so low. You're going to have to try and score as low as you possibly can, Neil, on the next pass. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Will the second players please take their places at the podium? Neil, we are looking for countries with 5-letter names. A really nice obscure one.
Well, unfortunately, Craig got the one that I was first thinking of. So we'll try, I hope it's a country, Libya.
Let's see how many of our 100 people said Libya. It's correct. It's good. It's very good. That means only 4 of our 100 people said Libya. That brings your total up to 26. Well done there, Neil. On to our next pair. Brian, you are currently on 9. To avoid overtaking Neil and David on 26, you want to score 16 or less with this answer. What are you going to give me? 5-letter named country.
I'm going to go for Chile.
There is your red line. It's a low red line because everyone is scoring low. If you are below that red line, you are through to the next round. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Chile. It's correct. Is it low enough? Yes, it is. Just. That means that 15 of our 100 people said Chile. That gives you a total of 24 and means you are definitely through to the next round. On to our next pair. Darren, you are currently on 2. To avoid overtaking Neil and David on 26, you have to give me an answer that scores you 23 or less. We are looking for countries with 5-letter names.
And I have to say China.
There's your red line. If you are below that red line, you are through to the next round. Let's see how many of our 100 people said China. Oh! That means 28 of our 100 people said China. That takes your score up to 30. You are now the high scorers. Great news for Neil and David there. You are now through to the next round. Nia and Tori, you've got it all to play for in this question. You are currently on 16, Nia. You have to score 13 or less to get through to the next round. We are looking for countries with 5-letter names.
I'm going to say Samoa.
Here's your red line. It's very low. If you get below that red line, you are definitely through to the next round. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Samoa. It's good. Down it comes. Oh, and you're on. That's correct. That means only one person out of our 100 people said Samoa. That takes your total up to 17. At the end of round 2, the losing pair with the highest score is Darren and Craig.
Oh, well.
Enjoyed.
Well, you
I
did
didn't
very
even points
well.
anyway, so.
Well, you've done very well indeed. Richard, what answers should they have gone for?
Well, you couldn't have done a lot better than Nia with Samoa, which got 1 point. But there were 4 pointless answers. If we take a look at them, there'll be some people shouting these at the screen at home. Qatar, Palau, which is in the northern Pacific, and Nauru, which, God bless, is only 8 square miles and doesn't even have a capital. So, poor old Nauru. There are a lot of countries got 1, actually. If you've got any of these at home, well done. Yemen, Syria, Sudan, Samoa, Niger, Gabon, all of those were 1 point. But let's take a look at the most obvious answers. The third most obvious, Darren gave us, which is China. Now, Darren and Craig have been brilliant contestants. Just before you go, do you want to have a go at the 2 most obvious 5-letter countries?
Italy.
Italy is up there. Italy's number 2. And the worst answer of all?
Spain.
Spain. Well done. They're the 3 worst answers.
Thanks, Rich. Darren and Craig, that was your second and final chance on the show. I'm afraid you just didn't have that pointless 5-letter country knowledge you needed to get through. So I'm afraid we have to say goodbye, but thanks so much for playing.
Thank you very much.